This is Patriot Sentinel, where truth doesn't whisper, it roars. Hosted by Richard Tortorello, we're cutting through the noise to talk government, politics, fairness, the Constitution, community, and God. Stand up, speak out. The watch begins now.
Breaking tonight, a horrible way to start the Thanksgiving holiday. 2 National Guard soldiers from West Virginia are in critical condition tonight after being shot less than a mile from the White House. It happened about 2:15 this afternoon Eastern Time outside a metro station. President Trump was briefed in Florida. The White House was placed on a lockdown, and flights to Reagan Airport were actually suspended. A suspect is in custody. He was shot and is said to be severely injured. Correspondent Mark Meredith has been on the scene all day. He joins us from there right now. Good evening, Mark.
Brett, good evening to you. You can see the investigators are still out here. Investigators calling today's attack a targeted shooting of 2 National Guards members from West Virginia. These members were here in the nation's capital to help make D.C. a safer place. And while we are awaiting any update on the condition of those 2 people, we are learning more about what happened leading up to the shooting. As you mentioned, it occurred outside of a D.C. metro station around 2 o'clock today. And we also heard from the FBI Director Kash Patel, who's offering the full resources of the federal government to make sure they understood what occurred.
Make no mistake, they will be brought to justice. Since this is an assault on a federal law enforcement officer, this will be treated at the federal level as an assault on a federal law enforcement officer.
Police have yet to say if the suspect shouted or threatened the service members before shooting, but that suspect was shot by responding officers or service members and quickly captured. His condition has not been released, but eyewitnesses told us that he was conscious. D.C. police say they are also still trying to put together the timeline of exactly what happened.
We have reviewed video from the area. It appears, like I said, to be a lone gunman that raised a firearm and ambushed these members of the National Guard, and he was quickly taken into custody by other National Guard members and law enforcement members.
The deployment of National Guard troops has not only been closely watched nationally, we've certainly covered it on this program, but it's also been controversial too. D.C.'s Democratic mayor has walked a fine line, sometimes supporting the Trump administration's crime crackdown, while at also times criticizing how it's been carried out. We heard from Mayor Bowser also this evening.
I've had the opportunity to brief U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, who was speaking to the president when I called, as well as the United States Attorney Pirro, who assured me that this case will have her office's complete attention.
And as we covered last night on this program, Bowser will not be running for re-election in this city. We are also waiting to see if there's any more information about how the National Guard troops that are also in D.C. will respond going forward. We are told tonight, Brett, that the Trump administration plans to send even more troops from across the country to help police D.C. Brett.
Mark, these 2 National Guard troops are in critical condition tonight. There was some confusion early on that they were actually killed. That came from West Virginia's governor, who later walked it back. What do we know about all that?
Brett, you're right. It was a quick whiplash as we were trying to piece together what happened. We were out here on the same street corner when we saw the social media message from Governor Patrick Morrisey, the governor of West Virginia, who would be the commander-in-chief of these troops that were out here. He had said that they had been killed, but then he walked that statement back about 20 minutes, saying he too was getting some confusing messages, conflicting messages about what happened. Our team has been reaching out to the hospitals, trying to get any update on the condition. But Brett, you can imagine a lot of families and friends are being notified across West Virginia tonight as well.
Yeah.
Brett.
A tough story. Mark, great job today. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
I have no words to say, but the crisis has finally reached our doorstep. 2 blocks from the White House, 2 of our own National Guardsmen were shot in an ambush-style attack while attempting to restore order to a city drowning in chaos. The suspect that we know now is an Afghan national. The FBI is investigating terror links, and the message is clear. Lawlessness is a national security threat. The courts tried to remove the guard. Now a criminal has shed their blood. We break down the failure of leadership, the president's response, and why this is an attack on the military is an attack on all of us. This is the Patriot Sentinel. I'm Richard Tortorello, my co-host. Cam and Gloria, don't go anywhere. I'm going to throw this to Cam first because we are in the military and know a lot of members serving in the National Guard, active duty around the world. This certainly hits home for veterans like us. What's your first thoughts of hearing what happened in D.C. and what do you think the families of those guardsmen and active duty members and guardsmen around the nation are feeling right now?
Yeah, no, first of all, prayers to the family, to the servicemen.
Absolutely.
This is sad in many ways, like in so many ways. I feel that people at this level should be looking and watching what's going on because, like you said, if this happened 2 blocks away from our capital, what is the message that we're saying about the U.S.? I have questions. Are these guys, sleeper cells? Like, well, what's going on? Why are we having this type of attacks right at our face? Again, prayers to the families, prayers to the military members. This is just a bad day.
Gloria, we send troops around the world. We put them in harm's way. You were a brat, and that's a military term for anybody who grew up as a dependent in any of the services, serving with their families overseas. As a military brat myself, I find what has happened to our fellow guardsmen, and I want to say that they could have been Oklahoma guardsmen, somebody we knew, or friends, family, and neighbors. But as a brat and somebody who is, who knows the military, as a family member, what do you think they're feeling right now?
They're in disbelief. They're in disbelief that we're the United States of America, where they shouldn't have to fight anyone, but yet because of foreign presidents and former presidents, excuse me, not foreign presidents, although some of them feel like foreign, but because of former presidents allowing people into our country, not vetting them properly, we now have this issue where we're going to have people that think they can do willy-nilly whatever the hell they want and yell Allah Akbar or whatever it is they yelled and kill our innocent servicemen and women. I'm angry and I feel so much for the families. I'm very empathetic to the families right before Thanksgiving, another holiday, and it's disgusting.
And just to be sure, reports came out of D.C. on multiple news sites that the alleged attacker did scream Allah Akbar. So that is not in dispute at the moment. But Cam, I know you're doing a lot of research as we're talking. Do you know the name of this Afghan national?
Yeah, the suspect's name is. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one for me. Rahman Ulan Lakan Wa.
I'll make it easy. His new American translated name is Dead Man Walking. So
Amen.
I hope they put him and treat him like a pedophile in prison. And we've been discussing this. Look, I think we've been nice about this. Look, this is the time to take our gloves off. We've been too nice about this issue. And the reality is that we've seen it in Europe. We've seen the invasion. When we open our doors to immigrants to come to our country, they are supposed to assimilate into our culture, not take side cultures or bring their culture to America and live as if they lived in the place they escaped to be here in America. Now, I know that's a mouthful, but if you're here and we open our doors to you, and many of these Afghan nationals who were brought over after, during the time we left the Middle East, most of them were vetted, and they were nice, and they were good people. They worked alongside our troops. They were interpreters, and it only made sense to bring them along with us, bring them back to the States, because their life would be in danger for helping us out. But for the many, many thousands more who were never vetted under the Biden administration, this is a shit that we have to face now. This is the issue that we have to face now. And I wasn't going to say it, but I'm going to say it now. Americans have a real fear allowing immigrants from Muslim countries to immigrate to this country because of what we've seen. They do not want to assimilate. Now go back, Gloria, back to Germany back in the mid 60s when Germany opened the workforce program to the Turks or those from Turkey. They said, you can come to our country and work.
That's right.
Stipulation number 1, learn the language. Number 2, assimilate into the German culture. Number 3, as a reward, you will have a German citizenship and so will your kids. Now, Gloria, when we're out in Germany, I remember as youngsters, I came across many Turks who spoke fluent German, who understood the culture, could not distinguish them from their original homeland.
Jawohl. Yeah.
So why do we have that problem here?
Okay, so
Anyone, both of you.
Let me digress just a little bit. So the Germany, I lived there most of my life. My mother's German. I have family in Germany still, and so they did immigrate people right in the right way because they did learn the language, and you'll find that in many places in Europe. But in America, historically, we've allowed these people to come into America. Now, think about this. All the people that immigrated to the United States were vetted through where? New York City, right? That's why we can go back and see the rolls and see people. But then yet, let's fast forward to the 1950s and 60s and 70s when people started immigrating at a larger amount. Who was in office at the time? They're generally Democrat. They were Democrats, so they were not vetting them properly. And that is how these sleeper cells got infected into our society. And let's go back. Back in 1972, the women that are now under Sharia law were dressed just like me. Okay, maybe without the hat, but they were dressed like me. They were wearing short shorts, mini skirts, high boots, fashion. They had makeup on. And then within 2 years, 1974, they took over women where all you see now is the slit of their eyes. And that is not okay. And that will never happen in America as long as I'm alive. I won't let it happen. I won't. And I need more women to stand up with me. It's not going to happen.
I think a lot of
I don't know
American
that
women
didn't
do
answer
stand up
anything.
with you. No, well, no, that was your opinion,
Yep.
and we respect it, and it's
Yep.
accurate. But Cam, isn't the problem we have now are white liberal women who are the cause of so much chaos in the political system? The cause of everything that's happened now, white liberal women are the reason we have so much bullshit happening in our country.
So I've been digging on this subject for a while, and I've had one of my friends. She asked me, "Hey, how did we get Donald Trump? Like, what was the reasoning? Because if you look at the past presidents, they behave a little bit different than Donald Trump." And I said, "Well, I think it's because of the wokeness, the everybody should be accepting everybody. It is not a Western thought process. Kind of like if you look at the protests that has gone out lately, you see people who wear their flags from their native country, and they're more proud from where they were at, than where they're living at. So when you ask him like, "Hey, if America is so bad, why don't you go back to your country?" And they say, "Because we don't have any opportunities." Then why are you representing a country that is not taking care of you?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So what do you guys think? I know. So President Trump the other day discussed doing away with the TPS program or the protected program, especially for the Somalis in Minneapolis. I think it's a good direction. It's a good idea because we don't know what they are doing in Minneapolis, and that's the problem. ICE was sent there a couple days ago to do what they do best, and Trump just put out a Truth Social post Mr. Producer, can you put it on the screen for us? Is it on the screen? Okay, well, here's what he put out there. So just now, the animal that shot the two National Guardsmen, with both being critically wounded, and now two separate hospitals, is also severely wounded. But regardless, will pay a very steep price. God bless our great National Guard and all of our military members and law enforcement personnel. They are truly great people. And I, as the President of the United States, and everyone associated with the office of the presidency, are with you. I think we need to do what the Israelis do with terrorists who are arrested in Israel, is that the entire family gets deported. They bulldoze your home. And once the investigation is completed, his entire family should be deported back to wherever the hell they came from. And I don't care where they go. To be honest with you, after tonight, I don't think any single level-headed American will give two shits about where they sent back. The thing is, we need to start as a country sending a message. You either come and assimilate, or if you do shit like this, your entire family gets deported. That will send a message.
Amen. Amen. And here's my other thing. I have to say this because I have Vietnamese neighbors that came from control, right? And I also they've assimilated. Yeah, they don't speak the best of English, but they try. Okay. I'm trying to learn Vietnamese. It's all good. I don't mind having to try to learn a language or actually using a Google try to learn language, like whatever. But my problem is this, or my solution is this. If you don't assimilate, you don't belong here. Period. We have the Constitution of the United States of America. It's never going to change. However, here's the caveat. I am a woman, and women are different when it comes to men, obviously, because, we do different things. But I know there's more women out there that are like me that agree that we are not going to consume and be a part of Sharia law, and we don't want to have any dealings with that. So, my thought process on all of it is that we should send them all back to Hades. I don't care where they go, but they're not going to stay here. And I think Trump has got the cojones to do it because they were let here illegally. And I've got them in my backyard in an apartment complex, and they're getting government money to live there in that apartment complex. But yet they want to wear their hijabs and follow their Muslim Brotherhood law. And they make fun of my tag in my car because I have a cross on it. They also have videos out there that they're telling us that they're coming after us and they want to take over America.
Mm,
Who's listening? Are you listening yet? Right?
mm.
So
Absolutely. Cam.
I'm gonna start a
Let me add
movement.
to
I'm gonna
this.
start a movement for women
Hey, Cam. Hey,
Let me
hold
add
on.
to
right
Hey,
now.
this.
Cam, go ahead and answer.
Huge win for DC that Mayor Bowser is not gonna run for office again because,
Good.
come on, like for her to just give that uh, speech, she should have been more aggressive. I'm sorry, that's your people. You should be advocating, especially when you have a guest coming in to protect your city. You should be the best hostess out there. Again, huge disappointment. Uh, and again, to Gloria's point, this guy is reportedly not a citizen. So if he's not even following our laws and he's using a gun, who is he buying the gun from? Like, what's going on? Like, there has to be more to this story than just him shooting somebody. Like, there are more
Mm-hmm.
people behind the scenes that no
Are
one's
you
talking
saying?
about.
Are
That's
you
what I'm saying.
saying? Are you insinuating there are sleeper cells, which we've known for a while? They're in America, but do you think this is like a precursor of something to come? More to come?
I think so. I think so. A perfect example. If you look at the manifestos are out there about how you come in and assimilate into the U.S. and then when they activate you for you to come in. I learned this in the military. Like, hey, be careful with sleeper cells. Be careful what you talk to people about. Be careful with those people who are with even your NATO allies. Be careful what you talk to them about, because they're probably with the country that's the bad guy. So I'm more afraid of the sleeper cells, and I'm hoping, and I know that our FBI director is doing his best to get those people out, but it's so hard, and I wonder if this guy was one of them.
With the FBI investigating this as a possible act of terrorism, and the reports coming in from the news services, we know that it is an Afghan national. How do you think that shifts the narrative from a simple DC crime problem to a national security failure that occurred in DC on our capital streets?
Well, it should be a national investigation.
This is national.
Because again, is a non-citizen carrying a gun? That should be a national interest right there. That should be investigated to its high authority, and then do a background check on every single person that guy was around. And then just start pulling the strings, open that kind of worms right there.
Maybe we should bring in the Mossad in Israel to help us start this. I mean, so look, our intelligence services.
You think they would?
Our intelligence services are by far the best in the world, and it doesn't hurt to bring in our allies, because they're used to this, and they can help us. Not that we need any help, but what I want to see is that I want to see a thorough investigation. All right, and my audio is gone. Am I still with you guys?
Yes.
Okay, I'm getting the red screen. So we need a thorough investigation, which Trump will make sure, and Kash Patel will ensure the DOJ, to find out who this guy was associated with. All his friends and family should be interviewed, rounded up. This is a good example of the DC police and ICE rounding up everybody associated with this guy and interrogating them to see what did you know and when did you know it. Because who's protecting our troops? We rely on the National Guard, okay, to protect federal assets. DC officials, the mayor, for example, I don't think she gives a shit about law and order. All she wants to do is maintain the status quo, which is more crime, and always crime. And I would love to see the president and the Congress write a bill for constitutional carry for every citizen in America. The fact that they're not armed in D.C., and the fact that we are in Oklahoma, which is why we're so polite, Cam, because everyone's carrying, and you don't dare put your face or step into it, as they say, with anybody, because you will be shot in the face. I think to solve problems like this, every American citizen in every major city and state should be allowed, without having to go through any background check. Okay, well, maybe a background check, but they'll get my thumbs up if I know you personally.
Yeah, because then we're not getting nasty people in there.
Look, if you're an American citizen and you serve your time in prison, you are not a criminal, and you are entitled to that. But what I'm saying is that we should make the laws easier for Americans to get and carry firearms. Okay, in East Coast cities, blue states, it is so hard for the average citizen to obtain a concealed carry permit or even open carry, and that has got to change. Because the guardsmen did their job. Okay, one of the guys stabbed the suspect with a pocket knife. Okay, with a pocket knife. So he did what he was trained to do, and probably would have done it if he was not wearing a uniform. The point is, we don't see that kind of behavior here in Oklahoma. The reason why, again, we are all strapping. Okay, and stand your ground laws, the Castle Doctrine. If you feel threatened, you can take action. All right. The seditious six, that was going to be the topic tonight. Do you think, Cam, those 6 turd balls who released that video yesterday, advocating to active duty National Guard troops, intelligence officers, to not obey the president? Now, they say that it was just a statement and meant nothing by it. But what did it really say to the troops who heard this, Cam?
I was gonna say if you're a serviceman or woman, that you laugh at that because again, your loyalty is to the Constitution and your commander in chief, and that's your president.
Hmm.
So if you know your job, that should be an automatic duh. But there are those people who sometimes they need a reminder. And again, I think that our our military is smarter than that, than just following some idiot just speaking out that.
Well, there is a video of an airman who made a video on TikTok saying that he is not, he's declined to follow orders, and we'll get that on the next show we have. But
Then he's out of the military. Get him out.
Let him
If you
get that
cannot
Article
find, if
15.
you
Let
can
him.
give them, because if you can't follow the law and order of our president of the United States, then you don't belong in our government. You're not a team player.
that is
My first
absolutely
question
true.
was for the commanding officer. Where's the commanding officer? Come on, man.
Mm.
Step up.
Mm-hmm.
Step up.
Senator
I
Kelly
concur.
from Arizona. Um, okay, so most people didn't understand, but if you receive retirement pay from the military, you still follow you're still under the UCMJ. I hope Sec War brings back this piece of shit, all right, and does that uniform inspection. Okay, we saw pictures of his uniform. All the medals were in the wrong order. I mean, he looked like,
Right.
I hate to say it, somebody from the Afghan Air Force. So I would say recall him back to active duty, and I would court martial. I think we have enough for sedition to court martial him, and it's just not to send a message. But you know what? If you do agree with the president and you're on the other side, this is not politics as normal or usual. Shut the fuck up. Keep your opinions to
Right.
yourself. Don't advocate active duty troops, National Guard members, or anybody in the intelligence services to disobey the commander in chief. Especially if you receive retirement pay, you dumbass. How stupid can you be? I still receive retirement pay. Okay, you don't see me acting like a fool because I know if I cross the line, especially with the new Sec War, which I highly respect, I expect to be called on the carpet. And besides, as Americans, that is the most improper behavior you can do. We don't do that.
Uh-huh.
Disagree on the president all you want on his policy. That's it. But don't advocate breaking the chain of command. Okay? That is the road to anarchy. That is the road to maybe, perhaps, the shit we saw here tonight. Who knows where this Afghan national came from? Did he come from Afghanistan with the troop withdrawal? Was he an interpreter? How did he get here? Is he listening to somebody who is taken to heart? Hey, my political leadership says it's okay to disobey the president. And this guy here has a conversation with a beer or coffee with a traitorous airman in uniform saying he's not going to obey the lawful orders from the commander in chief. I mean, we're not going out during Vietnam and shooting people in the face. That's not what's happening here. We're enforcing the law. Everything that Trump has done and what he's doing is to protect the American people. The fact that the
Absolutely.
Democrats don't give a shit about the American people, with the exception to score their own points, is what happened tonight, is a result. If God forbid any one of those guys die tonight, it's on the feet of the Democrats. Every Democrat. The seditious
Absolutely.
sticks their feet. I was hoping we'd have a
So
good, well, go ahead, Gloria.
no, I was saying you used the word seditious, and they're saying that Trump. This is why you can't watch mainstream media, because they're using Trump as saying he's seditious in the way he's talking, and then he was going to kill all Democrats, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh my gosh! Like, if you just look a little, this is why people that are homebound. I really wish there was something else that we could do for them instead of sending them tons of mail and things to educate them better than watching NPR or CNN or MSNBC or whatever. And honestly, a lot of elderly people don't even look. They don't know how to do online stuff, right? So what about
Mm.
education? And you walk into these nursing homes and guess what they got playing? CNN News or MSNBC. And I thought once upon a time that when every president was every president, no matter their affiliation, the news had to be what was the news had to be what was the president. So if it was a Democrat president, you were watching CNN or MSNBC. But if it was a Republican president, you were watching Fox News. That was what it was like on the base, right? Your bases or posts or whatever. But what I'm seeing nowadays is no matter where you walk into, whatever building, if it has a TV on, it's got some kind of NPR kind of news on. It doesn't even have real news or real things that are happening. And going back to the guns, here's what my only caveat, and Cam will agree with me on this. We have
Oh,
mentally
Cam.
ill people. Now he will. We have mentally ill people, and unfortunately, because of the way HIPAA was never designed to keep information away from businesses that give licenses. Right? That was not its design, but that's what they're trying to make it out to be. HIPAA was actually designed for people like us that are military to carry our records from one country to another country so they don't get lost, and that's what HIPAA was for. But now HIPAA is for, oh my God, don't talk about that person in the elevator because you're gonna break HIPAA. However, so how do we keep guns safely out of the hands of people that can harm themselves or harm other people because they have a mental illness? Right? Well, you have to break HIPAA protocol now because those people need to be on a list that they cannot receive a gun. So when you do a background check, it's simple. It's like, you know what? Get the government out of it. Get the government out of checking anybody because us people, I'm a laissez-faire person, right? But at the same time, we cannot have people that are mentally ill owning a gun, period. We can't. And I will never give my guns up, and you never know where they're going to be at because criminals, if you made a gun law, criminals will never give their guns up, you stupid liberals. God, you're so
Gloria, in
stupid.
Oklahoma, it will never happen in Oklahoma. We get a lot of viewer comments. I mean, this is pretty intense
Thank God.
conversation, but
Good.
let me
Good.
talk about the first comment. So Angela, she asked, was he a refugee from Afghanistan? And yes, the answer is yes,
Yes.
Angela. He was a refugee from Afghanistan, but we are unsure at the moment how he was brought here, under what program he was brought here. So that question is still yet to be answered. Um, Chuck Pearson, my friend, I want to be recalled to active duty. If they recalled me,
Go for
I
it.
would gladly go. I would not fit my uniform,
My,
but I would go.
my father would still go. Cam would go. I
Amber
get I
Evans,
get it. We're patriots. We're patriots. I'd go
Amber
even though I never served.
Evans, Amber Evans, harsher punishments must happen, or this will not stop.
Love
Okay, and
Amber. She's right.
she has, she has a good point to what I was saying. She supports what we've
She
been
does.
saying. Is that we have to string this guy up, and I don't mean in the public arena, but he and
Yeah.
his entire family have to all go through a detailed investigation. And like I said, if
Yep.
he's found guilty of this terrorist act in the court of law, deport all you guys. I will. I
I
will.
absolutely
I'm okay with that.
do it.
Harsher punishments. Major
Hmm.
Mike, this should be a wake up call to all of us. ISIS, and you know what? ISIS never went away. Thank you, Obama.
Never.
Thank you, Biden. They're alive and well
Hmm.
here in the USA, and
Yep.
he's actually right about that. Amber Evans
Oh yeah.
again. So we talk about the show. So on Fort Sill, she's saying that in behavioral sciences health clinics, they were still playing MSNBC on all the TVs. So
Yes, they were. She's right.
as whoever controlled the building and the office can put whatever channels they want. In my office, in my building, it was Fox News or get the fuck out. So right, no CNN, no MSNBC.
I don't
So
agree with
that's
that though.
well, it's
Mm-mm.
too bad you were in the military, so you don't have a say in that. So we want Fox News because
I
they
was a
reported.
child.
Well, we're talking about right
And an
now.
adult.
So right now, MSNBC and CNN, one of the two horrible stations. I mean, ratings in a dumpster.
Oh,
CNN.
absolutely. Yeah.
Cam, you're the only one who's still a government employee. Do you still have the channels on in your office?
No, we're working. Come on, we don't have time to watch TV over there. I was gonna say, let
Let's
the
talk about
senators watch TV. We don't have time
what
for that, man.
we're not
We
talking
gotta
about.
take care of the nation.
We're not talking about the secret lives of Mormon wives here. We're going to talk about Fox News or CNN or MSNBC. Just to know
No,
what the news
when
is.
I worked for the VA, we had before it was kind of like ESPN if it was like a very neutral crowd, but usually it was Fox. Usually we had Fox News up there.
It was mostly Fox.
I
Okay,
gotta
so
admit,
well, hey, so we got about a minute left here. So let's just start with Gloria and go around the circle here. Thanksgiving is tomorrow. We're going to gain about 25 pounds and then go shop on Black Friday. So
no,
Gloria, what are you thankful for, sweetie? What are you
I
thankful
am
for?
thank I am thankful. I'm actually thankful for you and Cam. I really am. I love you guys. But no, I'm thankful because I have a new grandbaby. Yes,
She
she's
does.
precious.
She
Yes,
does.
she's precious. And, and I'm so glad life is chosen and it matters to me. And it's just, I don't want my grandchild to grow up in a world that I didn't get to grow up in. And that is why I fight so much. And so, but I'm thankful, very thankful, and I'm thankful to God, and I'm thankful to our president who has cojones.
Yeah, good. Cam, what are you
Hey,
thankful for, brother?
I'm thankful for my family, my wife, my son. I'm thankful that I'm in this beautiful country. If it wasn't for this
Amen.
country, who knows what kind of chaos I would be in. So very
Hmm.
thankful that I'm in this amazing country, and I'm thankful for your guys' friendships. You guys are amazing. The work that you're doing, Richard, awesome. Gloria with her civic leadership out there, telling people, hey, you gotta work, you gotta do better. Again, I'm surrounded with great people. Very thankful of you too.
I am thankful that we have and live in a country where we can have conversations like this and not be shot in the streets because we share our opinions. I am thankful for the 20 years I served in the military and thankful for the people around us, for both you, Cam, and Gloria. Um, the show is taken off and people like the format. I did use a lot of curse words today, but we're
Shame,
adults, and this is
shame.
after our. No shame at all. I am not going
Absolutely.
to be. I feel no
No.
shame. If
Oh,
if
okay.
you
Hold on,
guys,
hold
There's
on,
nothing.
hold on. No,
no, no, no, no, no.
I'm
This is
being funny.
what's that. So no
I didn't know
shame.
those numbers connected.
and tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and don't forget, we have to be thankful for the first responders and our active duty military
That are
members
working.
who
Right.
are still working, even though we have
Hmm.
they're overseas. They're serving right now in countries in Germany, guarding, watching over us, and the National Guardsmen that are stationed around the nation. And like I said, the National Guardsmen, they hold a special place in my heart because they are our friends, family, neighbors, insurance
That's
salesmen,
right.
teachers who
Hmm.
who take time out when they're called to duty to go where they're sent, like any active duty member here. And so I'm thankful for Nicole, who's on the other side of the screen here, and she's going to pop by there.
Happy
And we'll
Thanksgiving.
see you guys. We'll see you guys in the next episode. And I want to thank our viewers for watching this, and I thank all the comments that are coming in. They're great. And I want to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving, and we will see
Me
you
too.
next week. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
You too.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Love the hat, Gloria.